Hello and welcome to the Golden Playbook. Today, as always on our Saturday show, we are going to recap the Thursday night game between the Giants and Eagles. We are going to go to our start-sit segment where we head to a community Facebook group and give people start-sit advice, which hopefully will jog your guys' memory and thoughts. As always, if you have your own start-sit questions, drop them down in the comments below. And then to wrap up today's show, we will be doing an Underdog Pick'em 8-leg pick'em. If we hit, we'll be giving away $50 to someone who comments on this video, so make sure you do so. That being said, make sure you subscribe if you like this content. Let's hop straight into that Thursday night game. It was a 34-17 victory. Giants over the Eagles. Jackson Dart and Cam Scadaboo were the stars of the show. And Philly is looking like they are trying to sleepwalk through the regular season, and it is not working out as they planned. On the Giants side of things, Cam Scadaboo, 19 carries, 98 yards, and 3 rushing scores. Absolutely fantastic game out of Scadaboo. Obviously, the 3 rushing touchdowns is huge for his spike week. Tyrone Tracy was his first game back off of the shoulder injury, and he did not have much of a role. He really didn't need to play much in this game as, frankly, the Giants kind of dominated, especially in the second half. They really had the Eagles' number. Eagles kind of got banged up on defense, but Cam Scadaboo looked very, very good. Jackson Dart looked very solid as well. 195 yards and a touchdown, adding 58 yards and a touchdown on the ground. He did get a little banged up, checked for a concussion in this one, but he eventually came back on the field, and he has really got to start working on sliding. He takes a lot of shots every game, and it is crazy. He's going to get himself truly hurt, but he is very, very fun to watch. Wan'Dale Robinson was basically the only healthy starting receiver for the Giants. Went 6 for 84 and a touchdown. And I think Wan'Dale is a very solid flex option on a lot of weeks. I think he's just going to get that natural volume, being the lone pass catcher there, with Malik Neighbors hurt for the season and Darius Slayton was out for this one. Expected a bigger role for Theo Johnson in this one. Only got 4 targets. Ended with 2 for 27. I think Theo will kind of bounce back. He had touchdowns in the previous weeks. I think he will get back to doing some of that. As far as the other receivers, there's really not another rosterable, startable receiver outside of Wan'Dale. On the Philadelphia side of things, Jalen Hurts put up decent stats, although it didn't look great during the game. 283 for a touchdown and a pick, adding 13 yards and, of course, a rushing score on the tush push. Dallas Goedert, kind of the star of the show, and really being the focal point of this offense. 9 for 110 and a touchdown on a team-high 11 targets. He's very clearly getting more involved in the red zone this year. So if you're a Dallas Goedert owner, definitely rolling him out as a starter week in and week out and feeling pretty good about it. A.J. Brown, 6 for 80 on 9 targets. In a game that they were surprisingly down. I expected Philly to be ahead and run the ball a lot, but it was, really a different game script than I had planned. 6 for 80 is a decent day. Wish he would got in the end zone, of course. Devonta Smith, 4 for 49 on 5 targets. Most of that happening in the fourth quarter. Just not great stuff from Philly. And another game with Saquon Barkley, not looking great. 12 for 58, and 30 of that was on the first 2 carries of the game. So after that, you do the math. 10 carries for 28 yards. Obviously not great, and very little usage in the receiving game in this one. So the Eagles offense is really in a rut right now. They need to figure something out to get a little bit, more fluidity going in this offense, but you're still rolling out these pieces. If you can still sell Saquon Barkley on, name value, I would definitely look into doing that. He is just not the same Saquon Barkley as he showed last season. All right, now let's hop over to that Facebook group and do some start-sit talk. Like I said earlier, if you have questions of your own, drop them down in the comments below. All right, we are in that Facebook group. We're going to scroll through, 10, 15 minutes of talking through some start-sit stuff for week 6. First person is asking, DK or Chase Brown in the flex. It is a PPR league. Obviously, Joe Flacco is coming over to the Bengals, so that gives him a little bit of life. And he makes a good point that Chase might get, a few more receptions as Joe Flacco likes to dump it down. And honestly, I do lean Chase Brown, I think, just slightly over DK Metcalf. Obviously, Chase Brown has not been efficient running the ball, but I think he's going to get a good, 4, 5, 6 receptions in this game. I like Chase Brown. This guy's wondering rest of season tight end rankings. Kincaid, Henry, or Darren Waller. I'm going to say Hunter Henry 1, Darren Waller 2, Dalton Kincaid 3. I think Dalton Kincaid's usage is going to slowly dwindle. This person's wondering, would you trade Brock Bowers for Rashee Rice or DeAndre Swift? And I would absolutely trade Bowers for Rashee Rice. I would trade just about anything for Rashee Rice. He's going to have such a massive usage when he gets back from his suspension next week. I wouldn't trade Bowers for DeAndre Swift, though. Next one, Mac Jones or Daniel Jones. Mac Jones is going to be the starter again. It looks like Brock Purdy will be out. So, with that being said, though, I'm going to pick Daniel Jones from the rushing upside. I think Daniel Jones might get in the end zone rushing this week, and that Colts offense is just humming on all cylinders, although Mac Jones is a very solid streaming option this week. Which RB to start? Travis Etienne, Jalen Warren, DeAndre Swift, Michael Carter. This is very easily Travis Etienne for me. His usage has just been incredible. Warren's coming back off the injury. I think he might split time with Kenny Gainwell. Swift is just not a great runner of the ball, and then Michael Carter is whatever. So I think Travis Etienne is very much the start for me there. Hollywood Brown or Sterling Shepard. I think this should be Sterling Shepard with Godwin being ruled out. Godwin is kind of a sneaky ruled out this week, so I like Sterling Shepard. With Xavier Worthy back, Hollywood's been running less routes, getting less targets. So give me Sterling Shepard there. Start Tyler Warren or Tucker Kraft. That is definitely Tyler Warren in my opinion. I know Tucker Kraft has the nuts matchup against Green Bay, but Tyler Warren is getting it done every single week. He is probably the tight end one for the rest of the season. And then flex, Judkins or Warren. Judkins by a mile. Judkins should have a huge week against Pittsburgh. Scared to start Krosky Merritt. Woody Marks gave me PTSD. Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt's going to be a great start. He's proved last week he can be the lead back and he can have a spike week. Love Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt. All right, Michael Carter or Zay Flowers. Honestly, I think I lean Michael Carter. Cooper Rush has turned that Baltimore offense into an absolute, bottom of the barrel offense. So give me Michael Carter, especially in a PPR format. So we've got a sit one here. Rico Dowdle, Rashad White, Judkins, and Jahmyr Gibbs. I'm sitting Rashad White in that. Gibbs is the obvious one. To me, Judkins is the obvious 2. And then Dowdle in the revenge game is a clear 3 over Rashad White. With the whole Bucks injuries, Bucks wide receiver injuries, should I put May in at QB? I wouldn't blame you for putting in Drake May, although Baker's been pretty outstanding in his own right. I think May has obviously a ton of upside going into New Orleans this week. I wouldn't mind that at all. All right, play DK Metcalf or the likes of Kupp, Shepard, Bourne. So Ricky Pearsall was ruled out of this game. If Juwan Jennings is ruled out, although it looks like he's probably going to play. If Jennings is ruled out, I would prefer Kendrick Bourne over DK. However, if Jennings plays, I like DK Metcalf as the number 1 option there. Caleb Williams or Justin Fields. I think we got to ride Caleb Williams off the bye week. That Chicago offense has been humming pretty good. And Justin Fields can absolutely give you a blank. So I will lean Caleb there. Start George Pickens or Devontae Adams. I will take Devontae Adams against that depleted Baltimore defense, although I know Pickens has a pretty solid matchup with Carolina as well. Let's see. Start 2. We got Michael Carter, Hassan Haskins, Khalil Shakir, Jacoby Myers. I'm not going to learn my lesson. I'm going to go back to the Jacoby Myers well. Give me Jacoby Myers and Michael Carter for the starts there. Although Shakir is a close third. Should we roll Danny Dimes or Sam Darnold? I'm going to lean Danny Dimes for similar reasons. Has the rushing upside. Although I think that Sam Darnold Seahawks offense could have a very good day against Jacksonville. We've got a pick 2. Derrick Henry, Bourne, Ramondre Stevenson, or Romeo Doubs. Let's go Derrick Henry and Romeo Doubs for me there. All right, in the flex, we have Michael Pittman, Stephon Diggs, or David Montgomery. I'm going to lean Michael Pittman. I think he's the clear, number one wide receiver in that Colts offense that just continues to do well. I think he's going to score a touchdown this week. Really like Michael Pittman, so I'll put in my vote there. We got Tonjes in for San Fran or Juwan Johnson, full PPR. This is going to be a Jake Tonjes for me. He has been dominating snaps with Kittle out and has performed pretty well over the last couple weeks. I like Tonjes as a good streaming tight end this week if you are desperate. So now that Mac Jones is starting, should he start Romeo Doubs or Kendrick Bourne? Similar to my earlier, ideology, if Jennings is out, Bourne is your guy. But if Jennings plays, I would start Romeo Doubs there. All right, Derrick Henry or Travis Etienne at the flex. He's already starting Jacobs and Dowdle as his RBs. Crazy as it sounds, I lean Travis Etienne. Derrick Henry, obviously having the tough season. Cooper Rush at quarterback is not helping him any. I think they're going to have a tough time against that Rams defense. Tet McMillan or DK Metcalf. I lean Tet McMillan every day of the week. Flex Rico Dowdle or Sutton non-PPR. Non-PPR makes it a clear Rico Dowdle. Even PPR, I lean Rico, although it definitely closes up the gap. But Rico Dowdle for me there. Let's do a couple more of these guys here. Start Harold Fannin or Juwan Johnson. I lean Harold Fannin here. Got the touchdown last week. Continues to run a lot of routes in these two tight end sets. And then for New Orleans, Juwan Johnson, I know he played a lot still, but Taysom Hill and Foster Moreau were back. So I think Juwan Johnson's going to see his targets dwindle a bit. Give me Harold Fannin there. Justin Fields or Jordan Love. You're going to take the quarterback playing against the Cincinnati Bengals every day of the week. So give me Jordan Love. We got Drake May or Justin Fields. So lots of Justin Fields questions this week. I lean not in favor of him, especially with these options. I'll take Drake May. I just think his upside and his floor are much better than Fields. At least his floor is safer. So we need to pick 3 of the 4 here. We got Metcalf, Pittman, Keenan Allen, and Waddle. So Waddle and Pittman are the must-start receivers for me. And then it's pretty close between Metcalf and Keenan. I will lean DK Metcalf, though. All right, here is a good one to end on. We've got Rico Dowdle or Tet McMillan. Other wide receivers are Diggs and Amon-Ra. So honestly, I would start Amon-Ra, Tet, and Dowdle, and then if I have to sit Diggs, I will. I know going against New Orleans, you kind of want to play Diggs, but I think Carolina's going to have a good time against that really poor Dallas defense. So love Carolina players, Rico Dowdle and Tet McMillan this week, and then Amon-Ra's the obvious start. And that'll wrap up our start sit segment. Let's head over to Underdog, make our 8-leg pick'em, and like I said earlier, if we hit the 8-legger, someone down in the comments will win $50. So make sure you enter the giveaway by commenting, whether it's a start sit question or just saying you like the content. Make sure you do that now. All right, we are going to head to that Dallas-Carolina game. I really like this game from a fantasy standpoint. I think there's going to be a lot to be had in this game. Let's see who exactly we want to put our cold, hard cash on. Ted's at 70.5. Jason Blue, Xavier Legette. Jalen Coker's going to be back this week. Jalen Tolbert. Let's see. Let's just take Rico Dowdle's over rush yards. We faded him last week. It obviously didn't do us any favors. So let's go ahead and do Rico Dowdle 76.5 rushing yards as the first leg. Let's head to the Rams-Baltimore game. Really like Kyron this week. And then, of course, Puka and Devontae should have big games. Let's do Kyron. Let's just do a Kyron touchdown. I know the multiplier is not very good, but we're going to use our 30% boost over on it. Let's see. Let's not do Cleveland Pitt. Let's go to the Arizona-Indianapolis game. Really so I don't know if Kyler or Jacoby's going to start, so that's kind of a little iffy for me there. Tyler Warren, 48.5 receiving yards, feels pretty damn good there. Let's see. Let's see what Michael Carter, 50.5 rush yards. All right, let's just do Tyler Warren over 48.5 receiving yards as the third leg of our pick'em there. We have all hires so far. Usually I sprinkle in a few lowers. Let's see how the week plays out. Darren Waller looking juicy. So with no, good running backs for the Chargers, I want to do something with these either receivers or with Herbert himself. Perhaps over 4.5 rush attempts. He should be scrambling a fair bit with, Miami should get a little pressure on that beat up offensive line. So let's do that there. Let's head in and see what this Patriots Saints game is all about here. All right, we are in the Saints and Patriots game. I kind of like Rashid Shaheed a little bit. They don't have any yardage up for Kendre Miller. Let's see what Juwan Johnson did last week. 2 for 17. Let's go Juwan Johnson lower than 37.5. I'm expecting Taysom Hill to get a little bit more involved this week. Let's go to Seattle, Jacksonville. See if there's anything we like. I like BTJ. I like JSN, of course. Let's see what we got. Let's go Diami Brown lower than 3.5 receptions. That seems kind of crazy. Let's see what he did last week. 2-2. He's been under this in 3 of 4. Let's do that one there. And then let's see. So we're at 6. We got 2 more picks to make. I know I want to hit this Cincinnati and Green Bay game. Should be a field day for anyone in green and yellow. Although I think the Bengals get a little bit of a boost with Flacco behind the helm there. Let's see. All right, let's do Romeo Doubs over 3.5 receptions. I think, he's the clear-cut favorite target for Jordan Love in this offense, and we like the 1.03 multiplier there. Let's finish her off with a little San Fran, Tampa Bay. Let's see what we got cooking here. Mac Jones, 243.5 yards. That seems high. Let's see. Rashad White, Kate Otten. They got Tucker there. Do they have any? No Kendrick Bourne yardage yet. All right, with Godwin being ruled out and Mike Evans still being out, let's just go Emeka Egbuka over 75.5, and that puts us at a 90x. Let's put on our Boost-tober here. Make sure, we'll apply that guy there. And that gets us to 117x. $5 wins $587. And if this hits $50 of that $587 will go to somebody who comments on this video. I will post the link to this pick'em in the description below. If you want to tail the picks, just click the link below and you can ride with us and hopefully we win. Good luck to you on your fantasy matchups in week 6. It is a pivotal week for fantasy. As always, drop any start-sit questions below. I will happily answer them before the Sunday kickoff. I know we got the London game early, so make sure you check your lineups. Hopefully there's no surprise inactives like Mr. Jalen Warren a few weeks back. With that being said, make sure you like the video, comment down below, and smash that subscribe button. I really do appreciate all the support. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.